What is up everyone, Barricade here, and I'm bringing you guys another Gears of War 4 discussion video. Before I actually go into this discussion, I just want to say real fast that this gameplay I got about a month ago on Valentine's Day. I was using the carried weapon skin. So if you like the gameplay, you want to see the live version where you hear me actually talking and reacting and playing the game overall, hit the link in the description. You can see the actual live gameplay. And then pretty much see the carried weapon skin in action. But pretty much what I wanted to discuss in today's video regarding Gears 4 is I actually came across a video that Game Informer actually posted themselves where they sat there and asked Rod Ferguson over 100 questions about Gears 4, just really quick, crazy little questions just about the game, kind of funny little things like that. But overall, there was some very interesting facts that I wanted to talk about in today's video that was brought up through this little funny video. First off, to start us off, is more of a technical side of the game. When it comes to the game, pretty much Rod Ferguson confirmed that for at least Xbox One, he didn't really say if it's going to be for PC. He actually said possibly for PC. He didn't really confirm one way or the other. So Gears 4 may possibly be for PC. But regardless of that, pretty much what he confirmed for the Xbox One is, once again, it's similar to that of Gears of War Ultimate Edition in the sense that for the campaign, the game runs in 1080p 30 frames per second, and multiplayer runs in 1080p 60 frames per second. So pretty much campaign will still have this normal standard 30 frames, whereas multiplayer will have the beautiful, silky smooth 60 frames per second. And I thought I'd just bring that up in a video because a while back I was kind of disappointed. I made a video talking about how I was disappointed how Gears of War Ultimate Edition's campaign doesn't run in 60 FPS, only in 30, and I guess it's the same thing for Gears 4, unfortunately. Personally, I would love it if they had even like an option to where you can play in either or, and that maybe if you had to play in 60 FPS, you had to like lower the resolution or something, because to me, personally, it's all about frames per second for me. If I could run a game at 900p but 60 FPS, I would choose that every time over 1080p 30. That's just how I am. I just love 60 FPS or higher. But that's one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. And another technical side that they brought up for Gears of War 4 is the guy asks him, when it comes to the controls, is it like Gears of War 3 or Gears of War Judgment? Rod Ferguson said Gears of War 3. So that's a good sign. I was actually really happy about that. I didn't want anything like Judgment to return. I didn't like the whole pushing Y to switch between only two weapons. You only have a Lancer, Gnasher pistol, or something dumb like that. You only have like two weapons and you switch between just the two with the Y button. I honestly hated that a lot, and I'm glad that Gears of War 4 is back to Gears of War 3 style, where you just have three weapons, use the D-pad, and you pretty much fight and play like the way Gears of War 3 is, in a control scheme type of way at least. Gears of War 4 is obviously going to be a lot different. Every Gears game is always different from its predecessor. That's one thing I will say from the bat. That's one thing that's really cool about Gears of War 4, or Gears of War in general, I mean, and that the fact that every single game always changes it up. And I'm pretty sure Gears 4 will play a lot different, but at least we know that the base control scheme for Gears of War 4 will be like Gears 3. So that's one thing that's really good. And then I'm going to go into a little bit more facts that was actually stated by Rod Ferguson in this video when it came to the story side of the game. A little quick more facts about the story and pretty much the lore. So one quick question that the guy asks him in the video is, he says, do the creatures sometimes come out of the ground, or is the whole popping out of the ground whole thing, gone forever? Rod Ferguson basically states sometimes. Sometimes they do come out, sometimes they don't. I guess it just depends on the creature. For all we know, doesn't mean that these locust-looking ones come out of the ground. Maybe there's ones that just like weird creatures that come out of the ground. He didn't specify which ones and which ones don't, but some enemies do pop out of the ground. He also specified that some of the enemies use weapons. As you saw in the last video I posted, and if you haven't yet, check it out. I made a huge 10-minute video talking about a bunch of crazy facts about Gears 4 that was released yesterday. And one thing that was shown is that we see a creature holding like a hammer burst. So there's obviously some humanoid-like enemies that have, they use weapons, they use lancers, they use hammer bursts. And the actual question was, do some enemies use lancers? And Rod Ferguson said yes. Another important fact about the lore that they stated is, the guy asks him, is there any emulsion in Gears of War 4? Is there any type of emulsion? Rod Ferguson says no. the emotion's gone. It's completely gone. There's no emotion, no lamancy, no nothing like that. So while he did simply just say there's no emotion, I can pretty much guarantee and guess that there's no lamancy either, because lamancy is hand in hand with emotion. So if there's no emotion, there's no lamancy. So that's pretty much what my what I got from that. So that's crazy. So we're fighting new enemies, no lament, just weird new creatures, weird melted faced creatures that are similar to Locust but not exactly like Locust. We're definitely going to get more information when the game comes out, but I'm very interested by how this game is turning out. Another question that he asked is Gears 4 a survival horror game? Rod Ferguson immediately says no. It's not a survival horror game. It's, what Gears is pretty much. It's not like supposedly scary. I mean, like, it does have a dark turn to it, but it's not like a scary game. That's pretty much what Rod said. And then another quick little funny fact that they asked real quick is the Carmine Dynasty, does it still exist? Rod basically says, yeah, the Carmines are still alive. Clay is still alive, obviously. Ben and Anthony died, but, basically what Rod said is Carmine bloodline is still alive, I guess. So maybe Clay has kids in the future. I don't know. And then they ask also, is the swarm a unified army? Meaning, because the new creatures, the new supposed monsters and everything are called the swarm. They're not called the locust. They're called the swarm. So the guy's question to Rod was, are they a unified army? Are they like the locusts? Where they pretty much work together, a crazy unified army under a queen. His exact words to him were they don't always stay in dress code. So pretty much saying that no, they're not really a unified army. They're wild creatures. They're a collective being, collective creatures that want to kill people, but they're not necessarily like an army. They're just weird wild monsters that want to kill everyone. And then the other question that was really important is he asked is how many humans are still alive after Gears of War 3 and in Gears 4. He says that pretty much hundreds of thousands of people still live, which is actually very low compared to what a planet should have. And it's crazy to see that, they're obviously populating, get bigger, surviving, creating a bigger civilization, but they're still dwindled down to only several hundreds of thousands of people that live in planet Sera. Then he asks one thing that was cool, because I always heard people speculate this but never actually confirmed it. It's kind of cool to get this from Rod himself, as he says, the guy asks him, is Gears in our universe, just on another planet, or is it an alternate reality? Rod says alternate reality. So Gears doesn't take place in our universe. It's not in our galaxy, some random planet in a random universe. It's pretty much an alternate universe of us. And in that version, pretty much there's creatures that lived underground and came out and killed everyone. And yeah, so pretty much an alternate version of us. So that was pretty interesting. One last fact that I wanted to bring up here is he asks him who's JD's mom, and pretty much Rod Ferguson pretty much said like no comment, like he didn't want to say who, and they pretty much don't know who's JD's mom. So obviously JD's dad is Marcus, that's been confirmed, but it's kind of like a weird kind of hush hush thing about his mom. So I think it's Anya. It was stated that she was barren, but who knows? They can easily make up a random excuse and make it to where she had JD still. That's not a hard, fix at all. But I thought it was interesting that he didn't want to say. He didn't want to confirm if it was Anya, if it was someone else, if it, pretty much. And then the funny joke was he goes, who's JD's mom? And he's like, we don't know. And then he's like, does Marcus know? And he's like, obviously, yeah, well, obviously Marcus knows because he, had a kid with her. But as far as we know, we supposedly don't know who JD's mom is. So I thought that was a pretty interesting fact. Go ahead and look up the video. I'll put a link in the description. It's only on Game Informer's website, but I'll put a link straight to it. Check it out. There's a lot of other little funny facts and questions that the guy asks him in the video, but I really wanted to talk about it in this video just to bring up the main things. On the technical side, game is 1080p, 30 frames, campaign 1080p, 60 FPS, multiplayer. Controls are similar to Gears 3, and then we got all these other cool little facts about the story and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I thought I'd make a quick little video. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check it out. Tell me what you guys think about all these random cool little facts about Gears 4. And don't forget to check out my live gameplay on Valentine's Day showing the carried weapon skin. But anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about this overall Gears 4 and all these awesome little facts. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see my most recent Dragon Ball video, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.